In this video, we're going to talk about mistakes people make whenever they're building a house and how to avoid them. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Andrew here with the Lake Team in Houston, Texas. Welcome back to our channel. We have another fantastic video lined up for you guys today. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below. We try to produce the best real estate content to you guys each and every single week. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go straight into today's topic, which is mistakes people make when building a house and how to avoid them. The first mistake some people make is picking an unreliable builder. I can't stress this enough. I mean, if you're going mom and pop or a track home builder or custom home builder, it doesn't matter. Make sure the builder that you choose to build this house is a reputable builder. If you're going build by owner, meaning that you're going to do this yourself, you're going to sub everything out, you don't have to worry about this part. But if you are going to hire a builder, make sure they are a reputable company. Make sure they've been around for a long time. That way, you know, because it's very easy if somebody screws up and they're a brand new company and they get sued, they can just shut the company down, and then you are SOL on getting any monetary compensation for any damages that particular company has caused. So make sure whoever you hire is a reputable builder, knows what they're doing, and can get the job done in an appropriate timeline. And not only that, but it does the job right the very first time. The second thing I want to talk about is building in the wrong location. Now, this is an important topic as well. You don't want to build $1 million house that's next to or everything around it is $200,000. It'd be very hard for resale for appraisal purposes only, because there's no comps in the area to comp out your house, in my opinion. But I mean, if there are new construction houses around that area, then you have comps to go off of. But I would pick an area of, you know, where your house can comp out at, in my opinion, because an appraiser is going to look at that. Appraiser is going to look at comps, depending on how custom this house is going to be that you're going to build. I would definitely try to, if you're going to build on your own lot, basically is what I'm saying, you know, choose a lot that is going to comp out for the house, the type of property that you're going to build on. The third thing I want to mention to you guys is choosing a bad floor plan. I can't stress this enough. Floor plans and how they flow is so important to buyers. You may not be building to sell, but you may be building to live in, but you always need to think ahead into the future. If something were to happen to you or to your family, or you're relocating, you always have to have an exit strategy. And so if you're picking a horrible floor plan that just doesn't flow well, it's so sectioned off, it'll probably be very difficult for resale. In my opinion, it's an acquired taste for different floor plans, right? If it's such a closed off floor plan, or it's a bad flowing floor plan, it just doesn't make very much sense. You may have some difficulties down the line when it comes to resale if you ever needed to sell. But my opinion is someone should always be thinking into the future. I know everyone has their own taste, but think ahead into the future if you ever did get in a bind and you needed to get out quickly. So just think about that ahead of time whenever you're choosing a floor plan. Make sure it flows well. Make sure it flows well, and also make sure that, you know, it does match your taste. Don't pick something that you're not going to like, obviously, but make sure the floor plan does flow. Okay, well, piggybacking off of bad for resale is material selections. Don't get too wild with material selections. I can't stress this enough. I mean, what you might think is pretty, other people might not think. Again, you might not be building to sell. You might not be building. You may have no plans to ever sell until you die. Maybe you're not going to get out of that house unless your toes up. So, but when it comes to material selections, don't get too personable with it. Don't get too personalized. Kind of keep it, you know, neutral. It would be my advice. Maybe, you know, you can't, obviously you're going to get custom with it if you're going to build a custom house, but don't go too crazy. Don't pick green tile if green tile doesn't, you know, match with what the whole house is going to do. But you never know, different strokes for different folks, but my opinion is don't try to get too crazy with material selections, because it can work against you should you ever need to sell. Don't buy more than you can afford. All right, keep it to where you're comfortable with it. I mean, everyone's, you know, finances are different, right? So, I mean, if you can afford, then, you know, the highest price possible that you can imagine, go for it if you're comfortable with it. But don't stretch yourself to thin margins, basically, if you're not comfortable with doing that. So don't buy more house than you can afford, and just kind of keep it to where you and your family, or just you if it's yourself, to where you're comfortable with. So another thing when it comes to building, especially if you're going to be building by owner or building with a builder, there's some mistakes people make with not having signed contracts. This is more so when people try to sub things out themselves. With build by owner, they don't have signed contracts with the subs that they hire. Meaning they can walk off with a job, they can walk off with your money, and especially with builders. Most builders out there who are reputable are going to have signed contracts. I mean, that's just a given. That's a no-brainer. But this particular point is for people who are going to go build by owner and build this out themselves. Make sure you have signed contracts with all your subs. You don't want to get screwed. That is the worst feeling in the world. And be careful who you give money to up front. Maybe work out a deal if they're asking for a whole lot of money up front. Maybe work out a deal with where you give like 5 or 10% up front. And last but not least, if you are buying in a subdivision from a builder and you're going to go the new construction route, my biggest advice is don't buy the biggest house. Don't buy the biggest house, don't buy the most expensive house, don't buy the smallest house or the cheapest house if you can. But the reason being is if you ever needed a resale, again, right, or you want your investment to produce some pretty good equity, I would build something in the happy medium range, right? Let the builders, push those prices up as far as they can, and whenever you're sitting in the middle range of square footage of what the builders offer, by the end of the development you'll be sitting pretty basically. So don't buy the biggest house, don't buy the smallest house if you can. If you have to buy the smallest house because you can't afford anything else, that's okay too. The builders are still going to push up the price and you'll still have some good equity. But if you can, my advice would be to buy something in the middle. Well, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to us on our website. I'll leave the link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. You can click the link and reach out to us directly from there. And if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below. We do our best to produce the best real estate content to you guys each and every single week. And you want to be the first to get notified whenever we release new videos, which we do every week. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'm Andrew with the Lake Team here in Houston, Texas, and I'll see you guys next week.